The OnePlus 7 Pro created a stir in the smartphone market because, well, it was a different approach from the once flagship killer. The Oppo Reno 10X zoom also created quite a good impression because of its unique design and P30 Pro-like cameras. Both the phones are priced similarly too, especially here in Nepal where both are priced above of 89,000 rupees. And there are not many differences between the two. Both have the most powerful Snapdragon 855 processor, have similar battery sizes, and more or less similar user experience. Of course, the Reno has better looks in my opinion, and the 7 Pro has a better 90Hz display and a cleaner UI because of near-stock Android OS. But for the price, the Reno 10X has more RAM and storage than the OnePlus 7 Pro, but daily usage feels more or less the same. So instead of going through a full comparison, we thought why not compare the cameras instead? Because for me, cameras are one of the most important parts and I think it is the same for you too. Now both have a triple camera setup at the back and the primary cameras on both use the same sensor, the Sony IMX586. So first, we'll compare the camera UI. A few clicks and swipes here and there, and I think it's safe to say that the 7 Pro has a simpler and a better camera UI. You don't get bombarded with a ton of features, but that makes it easier. Switching between ultra-wide and zoom is also easy. On the Reno, however, there are some extra features. Accessing the ultra-wide option takes an extra step. Either keep tapping on the zoom or click on the top part of the camera. And as you can see, there are some other color profiles too, which the 7 Pro does not have. Also, you can see this dazzle color thing, which makes the images pop out a bit more. But of course, what we really care about is the pictures, isn't it? So I am going to start from the normal images, and here is the first sample I took. Detail-wise, the Reno 10X does a better job. The colors are slightly on the dark side on the Reno, but even the sky details are preserved very well. So I'd go for Oppo in this one. Here in the second picture, at first glance, you might like OnePlus's images like I did, but after zooming in, you will notice how OnePlus has tried to murder the details. OnePlus's image is a bit washed out too if you look at the details in the sky. So Oppo seems to have done a better job here again. Now let's move on to more colorful pictures. Color-wise, OnePlus's is just slightly overdone, but it's not that noticeable, and detail-wise, both look fine. So I am going to give both phones benefit of the doubt here. Likewise, there have been instances where I have not been able to choose among them, like this picture here. Apart from the color tones, there is no difference I see. And in this picture too, both images look equally good. And I'm sorry about the gloomy images, but the weather has not been very friendly here. But anyways, let's move on to the wide-angle side of things. So in the wide-angle images, the first thing I noticed is that the Reno's pictures are wider than OnePlus's. But apart from that, like in most of the images, OnePlus has a colder tone and Reno has a warmer tone. So because of that, Reno's images look more pleasing to the eyes, which is the case in this picture of Kathmandu taken from Swayambhunath temple here. In this wide-angle image here, the OnePlus 7 Pro has tried to work hard on the red color. Reno's looks more natural if you ask me. But in this wide-angle image here, colors are more balanced on the Reno 10X and details look good on it too. But dynamic range-wise, OnePlus does a better job because even in the shadow areas, the images look bright. So concluding about the normal daytime images, I found the Oppo Reno 10X to be more consistent in terms of details and colors. Similarly, OnePlus 7 Pro does better at highlights, producing brighter images. In terms of wide-angle images, however, I found the Oppo Reno 10X to be wider and having better colors and details. Now that we're done with the normal and wide-angle images, let's move on to portraits. And I have to say that it's been very difficult for me to choose among them because both are entirely different. Take my image for example. Because OnePlus uses the telephoto lens, the portraits are zoomed in, which makes for better focus on the subject. And the blurring looks better on the OnePlus too. But what OnePlus messes at is the colors that look overdone and the skin tone which looks smoothened. Edge detection is better on OnePlus however. But details on subject are definitely better on the Reno 10X. And though some images look better on OnePlus, the overall image quality seems better on the Reno 10X. So I would say that OnePlus's portraits have better edge detection and better bokeh, but Oppo's portraits have more natural looking selfies. So I would give equal points to them both. And if we talk about the telephoto lens and zooming capabilities, the Oppo Reno 10X zoom takes the cake right away. It uses the same periscope lens as the Huawei P30 Pro, and so the zooming powers are unmatched. The OnePlus 7 Pro can go to 3 times optical, but then again, technically it's a 2.2 times optical, so don't expect good results from this one. However, the Reno can do 5 times optical and can go up to 60 times digital, slightly more than the P30 Pro, which I think is ridiculous. But the point is, the OnePlus 7 Pro cannot win against the Reno in terms of zoom. If we compare whatever we can easily see that the 7 Pro cannot keep up with the Reno after the 3 times zoom. Because if you look at this image here, you will see that the details start going off on the OnePlus, things get jittery, and well, the image becomes kind of useless. Colors are better on the Reno too. For OnePlus, this category is a lot of struggle. That leaves us to another category, selfies. And both of them have the same kind of 16 megapixel camera up front on similar motorized module. While the OnePlus 7 Pro has a fancy pop-up approach, the Reno has an even fancier shark fin pop-up approach. Besides that, it's hard to tell the difference in regular selfies. Both give out good facial details and colors, but I did get a feeling that Reno's was looking somewhat better. With the HDR off, the 7 Pro gives you a good image in indoor lighting such as this, while the Reno's looks slightly overexposed. And if you turn the HDR on both, the OnePlus 7 Pro lights up your face, almost making you look fairer than you actually are. The Reno, however, does a better job with faces colors. As for the beauty mode, the OnePlus 7 Pro does not look as overdone as the Reno's. It has only 3 levels of beautifications, which you can set according to your needs. Of course, at max settings, it will still make you look like a doll though. But at least it's not as Oppo's comprehensive beauty mode. You can not only smoothen your photos, also change your facial structure and everything like your nose and chin and whatnot. I don't know if anyone's into that, but it's there. As for the portrait selfies, both do more or less the same job. There are instances of subpar edge detection accuracy, but the background blur looks better on OnePlus. Facial details and texture and color is about the same on both though. Reno, however, seems very poor at edge detection. Just look at my hair in this picture. It's a bizarre, truly. Now let's talk about the low light images, and both of them are more or less similar to one another. Here too, color tones are different, but at instances like this picture, OnePlus has tried to expose the whites, making for Reno have a more balanced picture. Details are more or less the same, and so are other aspects of images. As for videos, both these phones are capable of recording 4K videos at 60 FPS. The quality, the stabilization on both these phones is pretty similar. I have not been able to pick the clear winner here as both do equally good. Also, both of these phones have slow motion feature but nothing very fantastic. You can record 1080p videos at 240 FPS and 720p videos at 480 FPS. And both may sound fancy, but they are not that good anyways. Both lack quality severely, so nothing much to talk about here. So there you have it guys, our camera comparison of the Oppo Reno 10X Zoom and the OnePlus 7 Pro. And my conclusion after all this comparison would be that Oppo is competing with the OnePlus 7 Pro and even outshining in many aspects. Yes, OnePlus is stepping up their game towards a more flagship category with their 90Hz display and everything, but Oppo's Reno series is also competing and competing really well. So in the future, if Oppo comes up with software improvements and better displays like OnePlus, Oppo's flagship also stands a very good chance of going neck to neck with OnePlus. That is, of course, if they improve. Now back to the topic at hand. After all the images we showed, which phone do you guys hoot for? Do let us know in the comments below. So that was our camera comparison of the Oppo Reno 10X Zoom and the OnePlus 7 Pro. Do subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon if you haven't already. I am Pratima Adhikari and thank you for watching.